10 minutes.
Okay.
Keep it useful.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I'll walk it off a moment. Alright, I'm going to have to use a cheat sheet, I'm afraid, in terms of questions.
I'll have to use mine.
Okay, so Catfish.
It's just my own key.
Marketing of Catfish, certainly in the States, centred on the idea of keeping what we might call the twist a secret, with the suggestion being perhaps if the twist is revealed, then the film is in some way spoilt or devalued. How did you feel about that, given the twist really is only part-way through the film and there's still so many questions? It raises more questions than it really answers. Were you happy with that marketing of the film, just hinging on that one aspect?
I don't know if I would say I was happy with the marketing of the film. I don't know how it's maybe marketed or being marketed here in the UK and Ireland, but I think even just the poster here, I think is a huge improvement.
Yeah.
In the States, they were calling the film a reality thriller.
Yeah.
And really heightening one of the parts of the film, which is the sort of suspense and mystery.
Yeah.
Which is great, because that is in fact part of the movie.
Yeah. I
think it's a little bit misleading, because the movie's about so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'd feel if I was remembered as the guy from that suspense thriller. I mean, it's a heartwarming film about the relationship between brothers, falling in love, going on a road trip, taking an adventure, taking a risk, and then eventually a very emotional and intense story about the human drama of life. And so I'd rather call it that than a reality thriller.
Well, it's not. I mean, it was marketed a little bit like a kind of sort of real Sixth Sense or something, where the twist kind of and that's only part of the
yeah. I mean, there's nothing supernatural
about
our film, which I think is sort of the direction that the trailer goes in.
Yeah. I mean, when the twist comes, we see Angela, we meet the real family, we begin to realise how elaborate sort of the web of lies, if maybe that's slightly a pejorative term.
It's pretty good.
But there's a bit of tension, but there's also a bit of, for an audience, not wanting to keep watching. It's sort of compelling, but it's also uncomfortable. We're not sure what you're going to do, whether you're going to confront her. In the end, you take quite a soft approach with her. I mean, what was your emotion during that experience, and were you not sort of eager to say, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think the feeling was pretty mutual for Angela and me, which was basically, I don't know what the hell's going on or what to do, so I'm just going to sort of chill out.
Yeah.
Maybe slip into neutral.
Yeah.
And ride this one out.
Yeah.
And when we first got there, we really hadn't figured it all out. We didn't know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Angela was telling us things that were new elements of the story that were confusing and misleading.
Yeah.
And
because she said she's got cancer quite early when you meet her.
That was obviously a big,
obviously shaped your thinking as well.
Yeah. Totally. And it's hard to imagine when you're standing face to face with someone that what they're telling you isn't true.
Yeah.
Especially when they're telling you things that are very emotional.
Yeah.
And difficult things to hear and you'd imagine even more so to say.
Yeah.
So the process of being there and the emotional reaction that I had was probably a lot less intense because I was much more moved by the experience that I had originally anticipated I would be.
Yeah.
I really never thought of all the things we would find that it would be something so difficult, I guess, and real, and that I would end up sympathizing and really liking this person as much as I did. So I was pretty confused by the whole thing, and it wasn't until afterwards that I really had a chance to sort of figure out and sort through my feelings.
Yeah. I mean, you allude to it there. In a sense, your sort of misery, if we want to call it that, makes for better cinema, And obviously the film's been a big hit. It's sort of a year ago now, just coming up to a year ago, it screened at Sundance. When did you get a sense that this was going to be a big movie and people were really going to get this movie?
You know, it's interesting. I really feel like that our first screening at Sundance, no one really knew who we were, what the movie was. I think the only reason that anyone came to see it was probably because our producers
Capturing the Freedmans.
made Capturing the Freedmans and have a really great
yeah.
reputation in the film world. It was 9:30 a.m. screening, which I figured would be empty, but apparently that's actually a really good time at a film festival because everyone's still awake and you haven't seen 3 or 4 movies already that day.
Bars aren't open then.
Well, right, and the bars are open, yeah. And the response was, first of all, I've never watched the movie in such a large audience.
Yeah.
And the laughter and the reactions and the pressure and the volume of the whole movie just seemed to be turned up.
Yeah.
You know, to 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
And people just erupted in applause, and we got a standing ovation, and the Q&A went on so long that they had to interrupt, and you know, it's just like people just really, it's sort of sparked a crazy inferno of discussion and interest and excitement. And from that moment, it's just been this sort of meteoric rise, this wild ride that none of us, even in our wildest dreams, ever imagined.
Going to new countries, premiering.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, it didn't even occur to me that it would have a sort of European release and that it would be receiving such accolades here. And then I think Australia is next, and it's just crazy. It's really just totally crazy.
I mean, great success, but also you allude to it again there, spark of discussion. Again, you're saying at the start you knew, you had a feeling it was going to be a success with audiences, you'd seen how well it played, but at the first Q&A, that was when the first issue was raised in terms of the veracity of the film.
Right.
And there's lots of different perspectives on this. There's some people who think it's an entirely staged film, there's some people who think it started off real and you guys sort of figured it out and decided to play along, and then obviously you guys have been adamant that it's what shot is real.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things, if you read sort of online comment, which maybe not the best place always to look for intelligent debate, but one of the points that is a sticking point, I think, is that you guys are tech savvy New Yorkers. You film as part of your routine. You know, it's a normal thing for you, but you didn't look further into sort of Angela. I mean, how do you counter when people say that to you?
Yeah.
I mean, it must upset you as it's part of your life, and people are saying to your face that, you know, you're just putting it on.
First of all, is my foot in this shot?
No, it's
okay,
not.
Good. Because I'm like playing with my toenails. I was at first very upset.
Yeah.
It just didn't. I couldn't understand how someone could see the movie and think like, oh, so obviously not real.
Yeah.
Because I watched the movie and I remember that was my life.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And then of course, I very quickly understood. Oh yeah, it's a movie. Normally movies are fake or fiction. You know, they're taken from real life, but they're retold with actors pretending to be people. And even in the sort of documentary category, more and more now, there are films that blur that line.
Well, I think I'm Still Here
Right.
came out the same
We
week.
were at Sundance with I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
And Exit Through the Gift Shop.
Yeah.
So I can't blame people for being sort of guarded in their not wanting to be duped by a film.
Yeah.
My response so far has mostly been, you know, if it is staged, well then of course my brother and Henry are incredible writers and I'm an excellent actor.
Yeah.
Which is just not the case. I've tried acting and I'm quite awful. And to the people who think like, well, you're tech savvy New Yorkers, I say like, really? Are we? You know, we're just guys who happen to make movies. But as far as using the internet goes, I don't think I'm probably less tech savvy than most people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I use YouTube. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not some crazy online hacker or somebody who has like a particularly good understanding of the internet. I'm just an average internet user.
You're not Julian Assange.
Well, right. And just because I live in New York doesn't mean that I'm not gullible
Yeah.
or impulsive or a little naive.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy, just a normal dude, you know?
Talking about sort of the social media aspect, on your Twitter profile you refer to Catfish as the other movie about Facebook. Obviously we've had the social network this year, which in many ways isn't really about Facebook at all. It's about sort of friendships ruined by success, whereas your movie really is about sort of social networking. We sort of see victims in it, like Amy Gonzalez. Do you think it's a cautionary tale? It's one of the first sort of motion picture cautionary tales?
Yeah.
The dangers of putting things online?
Totally. No, exactly. I think it's important for kids to see. I think it's important for adults to see, because everyone across the board is using Facebook.
Yeah.
And even though you might just intend for it to be a way to connect with old high school friends or current friends, if you don't consider that by the nature of putting even just a photograph or a piece of information or an interest or a website that you like up, you're giving someone a little piece of information that they can use to approach you and sort of appear to have the same interest and gain your trust or get your attention. And not knowing someone in real life and becoming friendly with them online, although it has and will continue to lead to many successful relationships and friendships, there's obviously a risk involved. Because I can say, and even though I didn't ever expect it, there seems to be this strange ability to really connect emotionally with someone through the internet.
Yeah.
Because you're not vulnerable, you don't have to worry about how you look or dress, you're at home, you feel safe. And as a result of feeling safe, I think you feel you're more likely to open up and discuss and reveal things about yourself that you might not otherwise do with someone at a bar or over dinner. And so there's a risk there, because as soon as you start to reveal yourself, you make yourself vulnerable, and it could lead to being taken advantage of in some way.